Welcome back to What Would It Cost? On this week's episode, we're going to talk about how we get money back in your pockets.
Big shout out to our sponsor, Premium Barbershop at Weston and Rutherford, Mike and Paul Gibo. They do an awesome job at hosting all their guests. They got 6 barbers cutting up hair all day long, an amazing espresso, a little cocktail bar, and the experience that you get there is awesome, and so is the quality of the cut. So go check them out at Weston and Rutherford. Again, Premium Barbershop.
What is it going to cost?
How much?
Hi, my name's Nicholas Regina.
My name's Michael Sakuro.
And you're listening to
What Would It Cost?
Good?
On today's podcast, we'll be talking with our guests, Rachel and Idan from HST Rebate Canada, on how to get money back in your pocket. Welcome.
Thank you very much,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you for coming
having
out.
us.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
we were excited because when we first heard about this program, it sounded a bit too good to be true.
Yeah.
And there's definitely not enough people that know about this, and we'd love to share with our clients, our other realtors and professionals that we work with. And I think it's definitely a great program. So tell us a bit about yourselves and how you got into giving people money back.
Ladies first.
Nice.
So I'm Rachel, and I actually joined the company during COVID. Idan started the company many years ago, back in 2013, and he had been doing the rebates. I had a marketing company that I loved, but in COVID, the construction was crazy. Everyone was doing their house. Everyone was building. Everyone was renovating. And Idan would come home and say, I need help. There's so many rebates to do. So I started helping him out, and it just kind of organically, it worked so nicely. We love working together. Both of us love the business and love helping homeowners get a lot of money back for their construction. And here we are.
Awesome.
And Rachel, she's a huge asset to the business. Whatever I did, she put it on steroids. She's amazing. And so for me, Idan Mizrahi, I actually came to realize this program while I was working for a large real estate developer in the city. I was working for a company called Minto. And when we were developing condos and homes, our purchasers who were buying new homes and condos were eligible for this $30,000 rebate. Yeah. So I says, wow, not too many people are knowing about it, and why shouldn't we start to share the word? So as I was looking more into the program, I found out that it's not only a rebate when you buy a brand new home or a condo, it's also when you are renovating your home, building yourself a new home, or building an addition to your home. And I don't have to tell you guys, the amount of construction that's happening in Toronto, GTA, Ontario, it's stunning. So I said, I'm going to leave the real estate development company and start HST Rebate Canada. Yeah. And just by starting to help some of my friends who were building, renovating, I was doing the applications for them. And then 8 weeks later, they were getting in their pocket $16,000 or $30,000 or $24,000. I said, there's a business here. And so that's how this ball started to roll.
Nice. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's really good.
And seeing it from both sides too. So you were on the development with a pretty big developer, Minto, right? Yeah. And seeing that this was happening and understanding that, wow, there's a market for this, and it's not being pushed through any promotion channels or marketing channels or advertisement channels, because I'm guessing that it's a little bit to the disadvantage of the government that they're going to have to allocate this money out. So it's there, but it's not being, there's no light being shone on it, and that's what you guys are doing in a nutshell.
Exactly. So
Great.
Rebate is there for a reason. So the government is incentivizing homeowners that when you build a new house or renovate your whole house, pay the HST, don't do it in cash, and we're going to give you that's the idea behind it. We're going to give you a portion of the HST that you've spent back, and that's what the rebate is. It's an HST rebate.
Awesome.
But there is really zero promotion, zero advertising that the rebate exists. So when people get to us, they're pretty happy to know they can get $16,000 back.
Yeah, for sure. And now everything, a lot of things being pushed onto the digital platform with payment, and cash kind of being something that doesn't even really attract the contractors anymore. It's just they want to put everything on the books kind of thing.
100%.
This this is a great time for this, right?
Yeah.
I think the key thing is like if we speak about the renovation rebate and building a new home on the rebate, when the program started back in 2010, in order to get the maximum rebate of the $16,000, you had to spend $300,000.
Okay.
So 12 years ago when we started, people were able to build a house or renovate a house for $300,000. And if they pay even half of that in cash, they could still get a portion of the rebate.
Okay.
Now we all know construction costs like skyrocketed. Most of our clients are now spending on average at least $500,000 to $800,000 on their project. And the HST they are spending just grew and grew and grew. So we found that like all of the people that are actually paying HST on their build want to get that money back and want it back like fast.
Right. For sure. Right. Yeah.
So,
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna say, so take us through the steps. So I just bought a new condo or just bought a new build pre-construction home. What are these steps? Wait till it closes out, come to see you guys, or is there something we do beforehand?
So it's a great question. And there's 2 separate rebates that we do, and the 2 have a completely separate process of how we go about it. So the HST new housing rebate, that's where you're building a new house, you're renovating your whole house, or you're building an addition that doubles the size of your house. For that rebate, what we do is we use all of the invoices for construction.
Okay.
And we put together the application based on the construction invoices, because that's what shows how much HST you spent on your construction. We take care of the process from A to Z, all of the bookkeeping, all of the spreadsheets, taking all the information we need from the invoices and applying it to the application in the way that will maximize the amount that the homeowner gets back. Okay. We always want them to get the maximum amount they're entitled to.
Yeah.
And we handle it A to Z. We submit it 8 to 12 weeks later. An agent gets assigned to their file, and they receive their direct deposit.
Wow, crazy.
And also, like, just to add to that, it's a win-win service. Like, we don't charge anything up front. We work on a contingency, so the clients first of all get all of his rebate back in his bank account, and only once he receives the money from the government, then we are charging our fee, which is a contingency. So it's literally a win-win. Like the client has nothing to lose by trying to go and apply for the rebate. And to add to what Rachel said as well, is that there's really a bunch of nuances about how to apply. So a lot of people are saying like, why shouldn't I do it on my own? So we always say, you can, but the only problem if you make one mistake on the application, the government is going to disallow you, and then you are going through like an appeal process of like a year. With us, it's seamless. You send us your invoices, we take care of everything. 8 to 12 weeks later, you get the money in the bank. You can let us know how much you received, you pay us, and away you go.
Wow, awesome. And how long can you backdate that?
We can apply 2 years retroactive from completion.
Okay.
So the government considers completion to be when is your final invoice. And you have 2 years from your final invoice to apply for the rebate. And, you know, I do get a lot of people that, you know, hear about me through a friend, giving me a call. I built a house 4 years ago, 3 years ago, and it is such a shame when people come to me when they're outside of the window. Because there's really nothing you can do. You have to apply within 2 years of finishing your house, and that is your eligibility window to claim the rebate.
Right. So there's a lot of gray area in that. Like we could bring. Okay. So say let's paint out a scenario here. We did a reno 5 years ago. We could bring in another tradesman last week, right? So it wasn't finished yet, right? We were saving up, right? Now he finished the job, right? And then you could tie that into the trades.
The funny thing is with the rebate, and it's so, you're creative, very nice. You know, you do have real people, right? I love it. You have real people reviewing these applications. So there also has to be an element of common sense to say like, okay, you have... you spend $1 million on your house, and then you have an invoice for a $5,000 plumbing job. I think you're a little late on your application. But of course,
of course.
And we always want to help people out, and of course, and sometimes there's valid situations where look at COVID. A lot of people had a big break in their construction and only are finishing it now when they started it years ago. So there has to be common sense, and we are always out there to help everybody that comes to us, of course.
And that's what the value that we bring. Like what people are hiring us for is when we are positioning the application for the government, we are painting a picture to make sure that they understand if there's a delay or some sort, like we bring a good reasoning of why it was delayed and so on to bring the client to the finish line. And we are partner with the client. If he's not getting paid, we are not getting paid.
So there's incentive there all day long for you guys to do that.
Of course.
Yeah. And what's that cost look like to the client after the fact? Is it a case per case?
Our cost changes, first of all, based on the amount that they're getting back, because it's a percentage. I always love to get the phone call, Rachel, there's $16,000 in my account. And, to send my invoice after that to a very happy customer. And it's percentage based on the amount that we get back for them. What we do know is that when we have 300,000 or more in invoices, we get the client back a full $16,080.
Right.
When we're showing less than 300,000 in invoices, which does sometimes happen, the amount that we get back for the homeowner is proportionate to the amount of HST they spent.
Right. And to go off of that point, because we feel very similar to that in regards to the brokering side of things, when we're able to take a client to the finish line and get them in a product that they never would have imagined that they would have been able to get in. They thought they were going to have to go to the private market, but then we get them in with a Schedule A bank, or they thought a rate was going to be higher, and we ended up being able to get them a lot better of a rate. And just to hear that client's voice and their reaction, or they look at their spouse in the meeting, and they just want to write you that check for your services. They just want to come bring you a gift. They just want to say thank you. Like, I know Michael, because Michael's on the transaction side of things. Like, he gets off on that all day, every day. And he's just like, you see him walking into rooms and talking to our underwriting division. And he's like, things got done and we got it. It's like, I can feel the energy coming off him. It's not what I deal with, but I see that in my partner. And I wanted to shine the light on that specifically. It's like, you guys are bringing a product to someone and getting the money back. And they had absolutely no idea that they were eligible for that. And that's a big chunk of change. Like, you know what I mean?
That's exactly the point. Like, for most people, it's found money. They had no idea about it. Guys like yourself and like mortgage brokers and contractors and architects, interior designers, real estate agents, informing their clients they are eligible. They say like, oh my God, like I had no idea. 8 weeks later, they're getting the $16,000. It's like manna from the sky. So
and also that's why I always do love to speak to the homeowner when they start construction. Because for a lot of people, this can actually change something in how they design the house. They put that 16 grand towards a higher end finish, or the appliance they wanted but weren't sure if they could afford. So it's super helpful for people at the end. We love it. It's found money where they're like, oh my God, we've done our house, we got this check, it's amazing. But also for people at the outset of construction to build the rebate into their budget, it's really great.
And just want to talk to all the business owners out there and look directly in the camera at you. This is something that we're being pitched products left, right, and center, and for us to stop our operation, mobilize and inject a product into our systems and processes and our 5-star white glove service that we pride ourselves on, that takes a lot, right? And it really has to give us an advantage on the other brokers and people in the industry, because we're always continuing to try to add more value than the rest of the brokers out there, because that's what's going to set us apart. And this is something that in the back of my head right now, I'm thinking of how we have to inject this in our systems and processes immediately. And as the client comes in and we're talking to them about their mortgage, this is something that's put on the table right away.
Like, what people forget, like, we are a big city, but like the real estate community and the construction community is pretty small. The more we're going to educate each other and help each other win business and help our clients, happy client is a lasting client. And then we all know that. And the best thing for us, like from our side of the business, and I'm sure in your business, a happy client is your next referral. He brings his friends, his cousin, his brother, And that's how you get this like snowball going. And the better you are with providing a better service in a very competitive spaces, it's a little bit about that walking the extra mile for your client. I know I'm selling you a mortgage, but by the way, you can get 16,000 here or 30,000 here.
Huge.
That's exactly what taking you to the finish line with the client.
Huge. That in a nutshell, right? Just to talk numbers in light of what the podcast is, guys. Our standard rate that we would charge out would be 1%. Let's say, just to have a benchmark number, right? On a mortgage that, let's say, is $1 million. That's $10,000, right? By us putting this product in front of them, they're simply not only paying our fee, right, and having it be that we're free of cost. There's even they're up money, right, when dealing with. So how do you make something? It's like it's just the upside to this is insane. And like I said, the wheels are turning in the back of my head as we got to put this in front of the clients.
Also,
for sure.
now with the price of housing getting so crazy high, a lot of people are buying the fixer upper. They're buying a house that they're putting in the budget to buy the house, do the work, renovate it, and this is exactly what can help out those types of people, getting that really nice chunk of change back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and Toronto's an old city, and there's lots of restorations and renovations that need to happen. And I know there's a lot of new building
We've
going
done
up,
it
but
on our
it's an old city, right? So,
Now, looking at, we discussed who qualifies. Now, who doesn't qualify? So you mentioned that if you knock down a house, automatically qualify. If you're doubling the size of the house, you automatically qualify. But if I want to put in a pool or I want to change my kitchen, do I qualify?
Excellent question. Like, we get a lot of phone calls for people renovating their homes, and in some cases they are spending a lot of money, that even sometimes over the $300,000, which actually will get them the $16,000 rebate. But the key thing for this program is not always about how much you've spent, it's about the scope of work. So based on the government criteria, you have to renovate 90% of your existing home. So if you've done like a backyard oasis, or you fixed up your kitchen, or you've dug down a basement, it's not going to qualify. 90% of your existing house must be renovated, and that's what will help people qualify. So smaller projects, unfortunately, will not going to qualify.
Okay.
And that's why we always suggest when people reach out to us, we always want to book a phone call with them. We talk about the work that they're doing, and we always start with that initial call because we know what the rules are, what the eligibility requirements are, and after a very quick phone call, we're able to say yes, yes, no, no.
Yeah. And there's value in that alone because the navigating through the process
100%.
And being able to cut that time down if they were going to go do their own research and try to figure that out.
Absolutely.
You guys know all the guidelines and can see if they're
we
fit,
ask them
right?
a bunch of questions, we get the information we need, and based on our experience we know if they will qualify or not.
So like you said, to your point is that you spend that $300,000, you'll get that full $16,000, but not necessarily if you spend the $300,000 just on a nice backyard.
The way it works, you got it. First you have to qualify based on your scope of work, and then assuming you qualify, then they look at the amount that you spent, and that determines the rebate amount that you get back.
Right. Okay. And does someone come to almost like an appraisal to check out the property to make sure, okay, these are legitimate invoices, this is legit reno? Like what's that process of them verifying before they send you the money?
It's a good question. So, and a lot of people ask us, if we receive the rebate, could it be audited later on? So this rebate, because it's a very large amount, it works a bit differently than other rebates that the government gives out. I always say, like the Canada Child Benefit, like those all are programs that we get those direct deposits in our account. The rebate is a bit different in the sense that you will actually have a agent assigned to your file before it gets approved.
Okay.
And it's basically an audit. So they will review the application, make sure everything is filled out correctly, make sure all of the invoices add up to what you're saying in your scope of work, and so on. So there is a lot of checks and balances to make sure that the government is only paying out the rebate to people that are eligible. And of course, that's where we come in to make sure that we are presenting the information correctly, so that our clients do get the approvals that they're eligible for.
And that's part of the big value add. We are that intermediary between the government and the client. So if the government's going to call the client out of the blue, sometimes it doesn't know exactly what to say, and the CRA is calling, oh my God, what do I say? We are representing the client, we are taking the phone calls, We are answering all the questions. We are bringing the client to the finish line. And that's a huge, huge value for our clients.
Big time, yeah. Just to know how to talk to that professional on the other end. Sometimes there's acronyms used that they might not understand, or they're working. They got so many things going on, and they don't have all the files ready in front of them.
You guys know it from your side of the mortgage broker. It's like it all depends how you put the credit application forward. If you do it wrong, forget about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and many people, like, they shouldn't have to worry about how they describe the new electrical in their home or their new plumbing. That's what we're here for. They don't need to worry about that, and that's what we take on when we're doing these files.
Right. Yeah, so to recap and bring it full circle and everything we talked about for renovating the home, what are the steps, the summary of what somebody needs to know when coming to talk to you guys?
So I think the key things to know: the house must be your principal residence.
Okay.
It's got to be either building a new home, renovating 90% of your existing home, or building an addition that doubles the size of your house. You must have the construction receipts in order to qualify for the HST rebate. You have to show HST paid in order to get it back. And the nice thing about the program, we can go 2 years retroactive from the time of completion of the project. So even if you finish the new build or finish the reno or the addition and you are sitting in the home now, but it's been 2 years from completion, still give us a call and we can still help you get the $16,000 back.
Nice.
Okay, amazing.
Nice. Awesome.
So now let's talk about the other rebate. Looking at if I want to buy a pre-construction condo and I want to rent it out, so walk us through the steps of that and what that rebate entails.
Yeah.
Perfect. So the rebate that you are referring to, it's called the new residential rental rebate. Essentially, it's a rebate. It's an HST rebate for investors that are either buying a pre-construction condo or a home, and they are planning to rent it out. So what's happening is once the unit, the condo, the home closes, at final closing, the unit closes, the owner takes possession, and at this point we can claim for the rebate as soon as the client rented out the unit. So you have to show a 1-year lease in place with a tenant, and as soon as you got a 1-year lease in place and the unit closed, you took possession over the unit and it's registered, we can go and claim the rebate on your behalf. So the maximum rebate available on the investor's rebate, it's $30,000, up to $30,000, and it's based on the purchase price of the unit. So just like quick numbers is, if the purchase price is $450,000 and over, the maximum is $24,000. If it's below $450,000, it can go up to $30,000. And one will ask, like, how come if I pay less, I get more? The HST comprised out of two taxes: the provincial portion, the PST, and the federal portion, the GST. If the purchase price is over $450,000, you can only claim the provincial portion of the rebate, which is $24,000. If the purchase price is below $450,000, the government allows you to tap into the federal portion as well, and that's where you can get the 24 PST and a bit more of the GST. So it can go up to $30,000.
For just simply buying an investment property that exceeds $450,000, you're good. It's an investment property. You're going to put a tenant in place. You're going to get a lease. You're eligible for $25,000 if it exceeds $450,000. Wow.
With this rebate, the interesting thing is that when you're buying a pre-construction condo and you're moving in, the builder automatically assigns you the rebate if you're moving in as your principal residence. What a lot of people do not know is that if you are not planning on moving in, you're going to be a landlord and renting it out. We got a lot of people calling us out before they're closing, freaking out that they need to pay the builder back for the rebate. This can be $24,000 that on closing you need to come up with. What not everybody knows is that we are taking this rebate, whatever amount you're paying the developer on closing, and we are getting you the exact same amount, dollar for dollar, through the rental rebate program.
Okay.
So it ends up being a wash, but we do have a lot of people that call us in a panic that they have to come up with this additional money on closing to pay back the developer for the rebate if they're not moving in.
And they don't even know that they can get it back.
Right.
So it's kind of like a surprise. Like about 2-3 weeks before final closing, you get your closing statement of adjustments. You think your condo that you bought cost $500,000. You're preparing your financing accordingly, and then the developer is telling you, no, it's not 500, it's 524. You've already got the...
$530. You know, it's up to $30,000.
Wow.
So again, like as you guys know, like now a lot of the pre-construction condos, about 50% of the buyers are investors in each building. So there's a lot of people are sitting on that rebate, have no idea they can get it again, and that's where we come into play. Same thing like the previous rebate, we can go 2 years retroactive from final closing. So as long that you've bought a pre-construction condo or a home and you've listed up with a 1-year lease to a tenant, and you are within the 2-year time frame from the final closing, we can still go back retroactive and claim that rebate for you.
Right. Wow.
And now we
Nice.
actually do work with many condo developers because they've recognized that it's like a client service thing to have us on file and answer everybody's questions about their rebates because this is like a headache for the developer that on closing, all the people that are renting it out are asking all the questions about what's going on, like why do I have to pay this extra money? So a lot of developers now give out our information to say, call Rachel and Idan. They'll take care of the rebate for you and answer all of your questions.
Wow. So that's like almost like you're an in-house for these developers.
Almost.
Beautiful. That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you guys fly here in a helicopter?
If only.
I was chasing after her in the car.
If only.
Right on.
That's awesome.
That's
and
great.
just like the renovation you're saying is that 2-year period. So what's the period for this as well? Because some people might not be able to get that lease before they close. So how long after do they have until they lease out that condo and then provide you the proof?
It's 2 years from final closing. So on the closing statement of adjustment, it's going to show the date of when the unit actually registered and the purchaser took ownership over the unit. From that point, they've got 2 years to claim the rebate and also 2 years to rent it out. What we are always telling people that are confused, what should I do? The way it works with pre-construction condos, there's the interim occupancy, which is when you get possession of the unit, but you are not the owner yet. There's usually a gap, usually 4 to 6 months between possession to occupancy. So we are telling our clients, as soon as you get possession, sign a 1-year lease with the tenant, have that lease ready, and on the day of closing, when the unit registered and you do the final closing, on that date you've already have the client in, you have the tenant in, you have the lease signed, and on the day of closing, we can already submit the application. And again, 8 to 12 weeks later, you get your money back. So you are only out of pocket this $24,000 for about 8 to 12 weeks from the day of closing.
Right.
That's awesome.
And is this for just residential or is it commercial as well?
Residential only.
Residential only. Okay.
And I will add another thing is, it's these both programs are only for Ontario, but all across Ontario.
Okay.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Okay, so that's great. So thank you for the details on both those two different programs. So just to recap on it, just give us maybe a brief on exactly what the two programs are and what our clients can reach out to you for.
Absolutely. So the two rebates cover the new housing rebate, which is when you build a new home, renovate your entire home, or build an addition that doubles the square footage of your home. For that rebate, we get up to $16,000 back for our clients. The other rebate is the HST New Housing Rental Rebate for condo investors that are buying a pre-construction condo and renting it out with a 1-year lease to a tenant. We get them up to $30,000 back.
Okay. Great.
Amazing.
Awesome.
And we encourage everybody to give us a call if you are not sure, you want to ask a question. We are always there. Call us or email us. It's HST Rebate Canada, and we are happy to help and answer any question that everybody has.
Amazing.
That's amazing.
Amazing. That's awesome.
Well, thank you so much for coming out today. We really appreciate it.
This is so fun.
Yes.
I'm too far. Hey, guys.
That's it.
Well, no, thank you. This is going to be great for definitely our clients to know and just the general awareness of again, how you get free money back.
Big shout out to the boys at Premium Barbershop at Weston and Rutherford. We really appreciate the sponsorship, and shout out to Mike and Paul Gibo. They do an awesome job in hosting all their guests. They have an amazing coffee station there with a little bar set up, and there are 6 barbers cutting up all day, and a quality renovation. They dialed in every square inch of the place, so it's an amazing and beautiful ambiance in there. Check them out, Weston and Rutherford Premium Barbershop. Thank you for the sponsorship, boys.
And thanks again for tuning into this week's week's podcast. Be sure to like, follow, and share. Hit that subscribe button below, and we'll see you next week.
Next on What Would It Cost?
Tell us a bit about Lancaster. So what do you guys do at Lancaster?
So what I love about this company is we're pretty much a full service millwork company in the GTA. There's not many out there that will do everything. So, we do everything from bathroom vanities to beautiful bars, kitchens, closets, cabanas, outdoor cabanas, which we're doing quite a bit now. People are just pouring into their homes, especially through the past couple of years. We've been homebound. Everybody wants their houses to look beautiful.
Right.
They weren't traveling, so they had that extra disposable income. But what I love is we offer everything from an entry-level material to full exotic woods, luxury materials. So yeah, we offer quite a bit.